How's it going, guys? Welcome back to White Belt Bowling. Today we've got something a little bit different. We're going to do a comparison video on the Archetype Hybrid and the Paragon Pearl from Track Bowling. The Paragon line came first based off of the Paradox line, and from that spawned the Archetype line, starting with the Archetype Solid, now the Archetype Hybrid. Both balls use the HK22 base with the QR11 additive package. We've got it in Hybrid and Pearl here. As far as the cover stocks go, the Archetype Hybrid has a slightly earlier and rounder cover stock than what's on the Paragon Pearl. It's going to be a little bit longer and sharper. The cores are based off of one another as well. In the Paragon Pearl, we have the iCore 3.0, and in the Archetype Hybrid, we have the iCore 3.0 Slim. In the original iCore, we have an RG of 2.486, a differential of 0.56, and an intermediate differential of 0.015. From the iCore 3.0 Slim, we have a much higher RG at 2.513, a lower differential at 0.053, and a higher intermediate differential at 0.020. The higher RG in this core tells me that the weight is distributed a little taller in the core, which means it's going to take a little bit longer for the core to start spinning up. Typically, I've noticed that'll give the ball a little bit of a longer and sharper shape. The slightly lower differential means the ball's not going to flare quite as much, but 0.53 is still a very high number. The higher intermediate differential tells me that this ball is going to have a little more torque on the back end. For this comparison review, I've knocked the polish off of both of the balls, and I finished them with a 500, 2000, 4000 grit finish. This keeps the same shiny performance that you see out of the box, but just brings the break point a little bit closer for a little more consistency. I'm excited to see how these balls compare on the lanes. This Paragon Pearl has been amazing for me. It's one of my favorite balls to throw, and I'm really excited to see how the Archetype Hybrid stacks up. We're going to be testing these out on just the typical Orleans house shot today, no sport shot for this comparison. Let's head out on the lanes and see how it does. So I just got done throwing these balls on the lanes. I was actually surprised to see how much of a difference there was between the two balls. The Archetype Hybrid was much cleaner through the front part of the lane, but it was also much slower to respond to friction. It made it a really good ball to play those straighter angles because I knew it wasn't going to jump off the spot very hard, where with the Paragon Pearl, I had to flatten my hand out and really throw it as hard as I could to keep it on line. Once I jumped inside of third arrow, I had to slow way down with this ball in order to get it through the pins. A lot of the shots that you see from this Archetype hybrid, especially in the second half of the video, it just seems to come in behind the head pin a little bit. I had to make sure I kept my speed slow so it wouldn't blow past the break point. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Paragon Pearl had no problem turning the corner. Even as I was playing 6th arrow, I was able to throw it much harder than the Archetype hybrid, and I had full confidence that it was going to come back and go through the pins the right way. Because of the stark difference that there is between these two balls, I actually can see having both of them in the bag, especially if you put different surfaces on them. This Archetype hybrid is going to be better for those straighter angles when you need to control the pocket a little bit more but get through the friction in the front part of the lane, where the Paragon Pearl is going to be great to get left, throw it to the right, and watch it scream back. I can actually see the progression of starting league night with the Archetype hybrid, and as you get further left, you transition into the Paragon Pearl. The Paragon Pearl looks like it's going to be better for those speed dominant players that need to get through the front part of the lane but know their ball's going to pick up, while the Archetype hybrid is going to be the opposite. Rev dominant players are going to be able to control the pocket and get through the front part of the lane just as easy. That's going to be it for this video. As always, I'd like to thank IAmBowling, Turbo Grips, Genesis Bowling, and of course the Brands of Brunswick for all their support. If you like either of the jerseys I wore in this video, check out IAmBowling.com. Use white belt at checkout to get yourself 20% off. Thank you to the Orleans Bowling Center for allowing me to film on their lanes, and I'll see you guys in the next one.